It is happy hour. It is hot outside. And we are back with the In Your City show. I'm Kelly Lamb.
I'm Gordon Montgomery.
And we are here with today's show. What?
I don't know.
Why'd I just get smacked?
Haven't seen you all day.
I needed to pay attention or something. Well, today's show bites with nostalgia and inspiration as we celebrate 50 years of Jaws.
Dun, dun.
Exactly. We need that sound to be playing right now. That blockbuster made cinematic history forever change summer, didn't it? And then we're going to be bringing in hot vibes with Rainie Howard. She's going to return and spark some soulful conversation and wants to know what your superpower is. And then, of course, in the hot seat, we've got the dynamic duo Dodie and Laurie, founders of SheBang. Is there a song, SheBang? I feel like there's a song.
I think there is.
I think there is a song.
It's Google time. That's what
Google
we should
time.
just have a thing pop up going, Google time.
And in our In Your City segment, we've got Bob Sturgis, the co-founder of Seat at a Table. That and a whole lot more. So let's talk about Jaws.
Yeah.
It's
Ricky Martin's song. SheBang.
Oh, that's it. Are you really dancing?
No.
People on radio right now, you can't even see what you just
I was
missed.
a DJ. I can't believe I couldn't remember that.
I can't believe it either. So you are listening to the In Your City show on the Lou Information Station, KLIS 590 if you're on the radio, and of course on demand at louinfo.com 24/7. Lots of great shows, growing all the time. Brand new. We're in the third week right now.
Third week.
Third week and rolling. Feels like a lifetime. I'm really tired. But let's get back to Jaws. 50 years. Do you have like something you can show about Jaws?
I think I do.
You know, Jaws was the first true summer blockbuster. It was a huge marketing release, $100 million, and that was June of 1975 to be bringing in $100 million. I saw it on the big screen. Did you see it as a kid on the big screen?
Yes.
Terrifying, wasn't it?
Yes.
The beginning of that movie when she's at that, what are those called that are out in the water?
The buoys.
Is it a buoy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's actually like one of the markers for the...
Okay, in which you swam out and then you see that head go down. Do you have it?
It's just like...
Just to remind us a little bit of Jaws before we talk about it.
Let's see what they say real quick.
All right, let's see.
To me, making Jaws was a life-altering experience.
50 years and we're still talking about Jaws.
It was the first blockbuster. It's this mystical connection between hero and monster.
This started me thinking about a career in movies.
Is there anything that you've never said about Jaws?
Let's find out. We were on the real ocean, and we were way out of our element for 5 months. And we all began going off the deep end, literally. The film was 100 days behind schedule, and 80% of the time the shark didn't work.
There was a strong undercurrent that the studio would close us down.
I was terrified I was going to be fired, but I never once felt like I wanted to quit. And when the film wrapped, I had a full-blown panic attack. But the success was fantastic.
It was sort of life-changing.
It's the film I've seen the most.
It wasn't just a movie, it was a pop culture phenomenon like that.
It supercharged the language of cinema.
There have been movies made since using CG sharks that aren't nearly as good.
The film that I thought would end my career is the film that began it.
Oh, yeah. Jaws, 50 years. Incredible. You know, when he talked about, did you hear him say that the shark kept breaking down and they were 100 days behind?
Yeah.
Well, they were interviewing some of the stars that, some of the people, I should say, they weren't stars, they were literally people that lived in Nantucket there where it was filmed that made their first appearance, you know, in a movie, being part of it. And
locals?
Yeah, the locals, that's a good word. And what's funny is some of the locals, they all still live there. The locals that play in the movie, the little boy that, remember when they had the fake shark thing on their head and they scared everybody, and then the real shark came because they thought it was just fake, and that little boy said he did it. He still lives in the town and he's a sheriff now there. But and some of the people that their father was older and played like the mayor in the movie or things like that, which they're gone, but the kids are now grown up, you know, like us, and they live in the town, you know, as mayor or city officials and so forth in the city. But did you know that the shark had a name?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Go ahead, because I'm like, it's
Bruce.
Bruce, that's right. I knew it started with a B. I couldn't think of
Yeah,
what it was.
they actually named the mechanical shark Bruce by the crew after Spielberg's lawyer. Bruce broke down so much during the filming that the crew jokingly called the film Flaws and named it after the lawyer. So because the shark kept malfunctioning, Spielberg was forced to show less of it. So they actually made the film scarier because you had to imagine the danger, and they didn't mean to do that, but it was genius by necessity because the shark kept breaking down all the time.
I like how he said he didn't want to be known as the shark guy. That's why he almost didn't do the movie.
I know. I mean, he missed out on a big thing if he would have said no.
And that's so true. I mean, you can get categorized early on in your career as something and then not be able to get past it.
That's true, and it happens to a lot of stars out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it does with directors, but with actors and actresses it does.
Well, he definitely went on to do quite well. John Williams, he is actually the person behind the music.
Does a lot of great music for movies.
What else has he done?
Oh my gosh, almost everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So his music is famous everywhere.
His movie scores are just endless.
It won 3 Oscars, but not actually ever Best Picture. It took Best Editing, Best Sound, Best Original Score, but lost Best Picture to
Schindler's List, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, Star Wars, E.T., Home Alone, Superman, Harry Potter, Fiddler on the Roof, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, anything that's been extremely successful.
He has made the music for it.
Musically.
So it lost Best Picture to One Flew Over the Cuckoo. I almost said the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, okay.
Remember that movie?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, he was crazy in that.
Nurse Ratched.
Yeah. So Martha's Vineyard, actually, do you know what the name? So it was filmed in Martha's Vineyard, but do you know actually what they called the island in the movie? Do you remember? Your brain's too tired today, isn't it?
Man!
It's a good thing I'm not betting you money right now to do this. So
I do now because I just saw it.
Oh, you did. Sleepy, Massachusetts town where they filmed Jaws has embraced its sharky legacy, and it was called Amity Island. And right now, with the 50 years, and I mean, if you go to that island anytime, you're going to see just lots of Jaws souvenir and T-shirts. I mean, I'm sure they make a lot of money, people coming to that town where, Jaws was filmed. But right now, they're really gearing up for the 50 years. But they, it's done. I think Martha's Vineyards does well without Jaws, but
yeah, it's
definitely really put them on the map. What is the line? Do you remember the line that the guy said that's made such a big impact?
I haven't seen Star Wars.
Jaws.
I haven't seen Jaws in like forever, so
we're going to need a bigger boat.
A bigger boat, yeah.
So I was in Disney World at Universal Studios.
Uh-huh.
And of course, they have an area that looks like where, Jaws was filmed, and you can see the little boat. And then, of course, right when you're going, like, you're on the tram and you're going across the waterway, this enormous, just ungodly enormous shark head coming out of the water, and it's like a foot from the the tram that's going across. Just about scares the
at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
You did see that?
Yeah, I have seen that.
Which is
King
cool.
Kong too.
I guess I should turn my
Kelly's being reminded that she has a radio show guest coming on in a minute.
It's letting me know. I'm going to turn that down just in case someone else decides to text or call in, right? What other cool thing? Anything else cool about it, or something that I can stump you with?
Man, you know what? I haven't seen it. Like I said, I haven't seen it in so long. I do remember that his name was Bruce.
Do you remember the shark hunter, the grizzled shark hunter that went out with? Do you remember him?
I remember him, but I don't know anything about him.
Quinn.
Okay, I remember that.
Gosh,
when you say it comes back.
Then everything hits you.
I do remember Richard Dreyfuss.
I'm just talking to myself. Oh yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, he was great in the movie. But it was really, that was a movie that.
What About Bob is still my favorite Richard Dreyfuss movie.
Oh yeah, it's really good. But seriously, it's a movie that to this day people are still afraid to go in the ocean.
Now that you know what you know about Jaws, does the shark still scare you?
Yes. Now, I have to admit, I haven't really enjoyed the shark movies. You know, what is there, like 8 of them out now? And the shark kept, the
like
shark was like the size of the whole radio station here.
We're watching, so Kylan's like, what, 8, and he wanted to watch a shark movie because he was, little kids love sharks.
Mega Shark, right?
The two-headed shark.
Remember
the two-headed shark?
I think it was called
movie?
Mega Shark, though, wasn't it?
It was like, it was so bad.
He fell asleep and we still stayed up and watched the end of it. But I mean, those movies, I still remember that part where that girl is out by that.
I think the most dramatic part about her getting eaten by the shark was the fact that she was just sitting there. All of a sudden, you just seen her kind of bob down, like getting, and then bob down again, and then next thing you know,
she's done. She's cooked.
Elbow.
So very cool. So hopefully, is there a movie that's scarred you for life that you saw? I mean, Jaws did make me very afraid. I still think about sharks from the movie, but do you have a movie that scared you as a kid that stayed with you?
Doesn't really. Well, the first, I mean, I was like 6 or 7 when I saw Psycho. Remember Psycho?
Oh yeah.
But when they turned the mom around in the skull and she was a skeleton, that scared me to death when I was a kid.
But it didn't. I mean, there's a lot of movies that scared me and still scare me now, but left its imprint, like Jaws. I mean, Jaws has made an imprint on people forever. Exorcist is pretty terrifying. But is there a movie that makes you afraid to do something or go somewhere?
Doesn't make me afraid to do something or go somewhere. Poseidon Adventure was one.
Yes.
When it got capsized, the very first one with Gene Hackman.
Movie.
When it got capsized and all the things were falling from the sea, from the floor
when they were going
down.
through that boat to get, that was scary.
And Shelley Winters trying to swim underwater to get to the.
When she died, I was devastated. Don't you remember when she drowned?
Yeah.
She saved someone. Remember, she's this big woman in the movie, and she's able to hold her breath a long time. So she goes to save the character in the movie, and then dies afterwards. And I was just that just was terrible for me.
Now, something that still makes it, when you say impact,
it
just makes me shake and go, oh my gosh, I almost got to look away. I couldn't even imagine or fathom it. And we just saw it in the movie Mobland. It happened in the movie Mobland. It happened in Scarface.
The sawing.
The chainsaw.
The chopping someone out.
Anytime I see anything with a chainsaw and they're taking someone out, I mean, yeah, that's just, there's something about that sound. And just, oh my gosh. It's like, yeah.
Pretty bad.
That gets me.
So what do you think about the Lakers? You're a big sports guy. You love doing where you bet, the FanDuel thing. You're all into that. It's like whatever sport's on, all of a sudden you're on your phone.
Well, it makes you watch the game more.
Yeah, but
this show has been brought to you by FanDuel.
But what drives me crazy, though, is when you put the red zone on and you're not watching the game. You keep changing it, and it drives me crazy.
100,000 guys agree with me. It's like, you know what? Sometimes I like to watch the whole game, but the red zone's fun to watch because, I mean, sometimes you can watch a game and nothing's happening in it. Well, you're watching it when it gets to the 20-yard line. When it gets to the red zone, then they'll switch to that game.
And then I get all into it, and then it switches to another game. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to walk away. I can't take it.
The only thing I don't like about the red zone is the announcer. I mean, he's a little over the top sometimes. Sometimes I just want him to shut up and let me hear the announcers of the game. I don't want to hear you.
So Lakers sold for $10 billion, the biggest deal ever. $10 billion. I mean, wrap yourself around that. That's a lot. How fast do you get that money back?
How much was it bought for? Her dad bought it for $67 million.
$67 million?
$67 million.
Now, the daughter, who is still... They call it the governor.
That's quite a return on your investment.
Yes, it is. The governor. She's still going to play a role. So how much money she now just
you get
sold
money
it,
and you can still be a part of it.
and she's still remaining in with the team, which I'm sure she wrote that in the contract. She's fairly young.
That's
incredible. I can't imagine that kind of money.
Oh, I would be like,
goodbye. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go have a really good time. But I mean, it's quite. I mean, that's. What was the largest one before that was 6.1 billion, the Boston Celtics. So it's moving up the chain there.
Those are two storied franchises, though. The Boston Celtics and the Lakers have been at it for years. They're like the Cardinals and the Yankees. You know, and I guess the Boston Red Sox too. But I mean, they've just been around forever,
and they do so well.
Yeah.
But that's an incredible amount of money. I was asking if there was been a movie, about the Lakers, and there actually is an HBO winning time, The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty. Have you heard of that?
No.
So now I want to watch it. Now that this sale's going on, now all of a sudden I want to watch it. There's also another one, Hulu Disney, Legacy.
The what?
It's called Legacy. It's a true story of the LA Lakers.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
So you haven't watched that either. So those are two things that we'll have to take advantage of and check it out, and because it intrigues you.
Right.
I mean, so you wonder what kind of money is made yearly by the team. You figure the money that goes out paying these players, how long does it take to get $10 billion back?
Pretzel and a hot dog and a soda.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
But I wonder what their ticket sales, and I wonder, are there ticket sales like the Green Bay Packers where you've got to be, inherit the tickets or someone dies to get them? Is it pretty impossible to get tickets to a Lakers game or a Boston Celtics, these popular games? Guy. You're not out there buying them?
Not Lakers
tickets.
For very first NBA game I went to was the Milwaukee Bucks with Rick Dalton.
Okay.
The second NBA game I went to was with Kylan and you for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Which was super fun, by the way.
The average Laker ticket price is $74 to $285 for upper level seats, $218 to $3,000 for lower bowl seats, and $181 to $12,000 for courtside or premier seats.
That's not really crazy.
The thing about a Lakers game is you're going to see celebrities. Jack Nicholson is a long time celebrity fan for the Lakers. Yeah, but I think he might be Pistons. Adam Sandler, I can't remember, but there's a lot of.
But I mean, that's not quite how many people sit in a stand for a basketball game with the Lakers? Like, how many people does it hold? Sorry, would that be the right word?
Now you're asking me all these stats that I don't know. Born people
usually you have useless information in your head, so I'm a little bit surprised right now at your ability to.
Yeah, but not
give
for
me
the
info.
Lakers. I don't really pay attention to the Lakers except maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
There's ridiculous stuff in your head that no one should ever even have in their brain that you have. What does it say? And
according to there was 793,000 attendees for the 42 home games in 23-24 season.
Okay, so 700. I mean,
usually about 18,925 fans per game.
I mean, obviously they're making money on sponsorships and all the things and labels around. My gosh, when you go to a game, you don't even see a wall anymore. They're covered in a spot, in some sort of a business out there. But yeah, you've got to really take in some money to get your money back on billions.
Yep.
Yeah, well, pretty cool. So, all right, well, we have a great show ahead, and we're coming up next. We're going to be talking to Rainie Howard, and we're going to be talking about what is your superpower. So I'm anxious to see what you think your superpower is, Gordon, and if you use it.
Well, it's only with you.
So once I find out.
You already know.
I do know? I'm almost afraid. Can you say it on air?
I can say it in a nice way. Yeah.
In a nice way.
Acceptable way.
Wait. So you said nice. So is it bad?
In an acceptable way.
An acceptable way, because you changed the word. First you said nice, then you said acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at your face. I'm pretty sure probably shouldn't be said on the radio.
Okay.
Maybe it should. I'm not sure. All right. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Rainie Howard, and then we are going to go from there. Tim Meers, we've got him. We're going to be talking about Celebrate St. Louis. Making some good stuff today. We're going to be busy.
Yep, we are.
All right. I hope you ate your sandwich.
I did.
All right. Get your mocktail, get your cocktail, whatever it is, and stay with us. We'll be right back with more of the In Your City show right here on luinfo.com. Welcome back to In Your City Show right here at the LouInfo.com, on demand, streaming 24/7, as well as the KLIS 590 AM. And in the studios with us right now, we have Dodie and Laurie, and they are the founders of SheBang, and Gordon is extremely excited to find
I saw
out
this on the list, and I go, who are we?
brand new lifestyle product that's empowering women to own their own energy. This is not to empower you, Gordon.
Right.
But he is very excited to find out about it. First, we were talking about the SheBang. We figured out it was Ricky Martin's song.
Yep.
And then, of course, let's see.
Dodie.
Laurie.
Yeah.
Dodie let us know before we started that this is not a porn site. So thank you. Gordon's very disappointed right now. He was like, isn't there video for this or something?
So we want to ask about the brand, and we want to ask about that, but how did the name come about?
Well, the name actually, we knew we wanted something strong and pretty empowering, and we had pretty much 3 names picked out, and this one just kept coming out and standing out from the others. So we literally looked at each other.
SheBang.
It
stands out to me too.
It also
got my attention.
Right, exactly. And that was the other thing. I'm like, Laurie, it's going to get people's attention. It's going to make them curious. What is this about?
Yeah.
Just like Gordon, everybody's kind of dirty-minded.
Yeah, he's disappointed now, actually.
Now he's disappointed. But it does make people stop and question what it's about.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
that's where it came from.
Well, so tell us what it is, now that we know we're not going to watch a porn video and we know why you have your name. Tell us exactly what is this product, SheBang?
Well, it's more of a community
to
start. It's more of a community about just we're a bridge for women that are going through the perimenopausal hormonal changes and just in life. We both experienced it unknowingly. It really hit both of us, and in a way that we were really...
It knocked us.
Yeah, it pretty knocked... Yeah.
So you two are good friends.
Yeah.
And did this happen at the same time? And you're kind of wondering what the heck's going on with you?
Yeah, we really did.
A guy cannot understand.
No.
It's truly, it's...
The depression...
If we're living with some woman that's going through it, we do it. We do get... I don't know if we understand, but we experience it.
Right, you do experience it. And we will have educational things for the guys, too.
And it's difficult depending if you do it because of age changing or, in my case, I was 40 years old and I had a hysterectomy. And it was like, what the heck happened?
You're
you know?
forced into it.
Yeah.
Dodie is a designer in her other life, and so she was working on some stuff at my house, and we happened to be sitting out taking a break on the front porch, and she said, I don't know what's wrong with me. She started crying.
That was the 3rd time that day.
Yeah. And she is not a crier.
I cry all the time. Maybe it's in mental.
Well, that's me if we're watching movies all day.
Right.
She's not a crier.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let me tell you about what I've just gone through. And I had just gone and had my hormones checked, gotten on HRT, and I was actually starting to feel better. And she was like, well, I didn't even think about that, because guess what? Our doctors don't really talk to us about it.
I was on radio and at another station and had this doctor on, and she started talking about symptoms, crying, emotional, foggy brain,
night sweats,
feeling like you had the flu. It was really, really, I felt so sick, and I'm just struggling through every day, doing my job. I don't know. I went to 3 doctors. Nobody could find anything wrong with me. Everything showed up normal, and this doctor comes on the show and she starts talking about it. I started crying, and after the show, I hugged her and I said, because I thought I was a hypochondriac. I thought I was
feel crazy.
Yes, I thought something was wrong with me. Yeah. How can I feel so bad, but nobody can find anything wrong with me? I must be messed up in my head, right? So, found out about identical hormonal replacement, and it took about 2 weeks, and I can remember calling my mom saying, I don't have the flu anymore. My joints aren't hurting anymore. This is like crazy. So I totally understand what you're saying. And that was a long time ago, and I still talk about it and can remember to the day where I was when I really noticed I even felt better.
Yeah.
So you guys figure this out. You end up going to the doctor then.
Yes,
okay?
I wind up going to the doctor. I think the next day she had a doctor she was going to. I used him, scheduled the next day, and it was probably another week before I went to see him, and once I started the HRT, it was probably 2 weeks. My energy was back. I'm a high energy person anyway, but I hadn't had that energy for so long. And my energy was back up. I was actually making jokes and laughing again. I wasn't crying in the middle of the day.
For no reason.
And truly believing I was crazy.
Yes.
You know? I mean, my ex used to tell me that there was something wrong with me. I started to believe it, but I didn't know it was hormones.
That's why he's your ex.
Yeah, exactly. Remember that, Gordon.
I had an ex. He's the best. He's the next.
Love it. I got one.
And last.
Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, I immediately was an advocate about this, and that's when, you know, I was already on burnout in my job anyway for the last probably 8 years.
I was on burnout.
She was on burnout, and we just sat down and talked. Back in 22, I actually wanted to start an online community for women that was more of just learning to love yourself. And as this is all happening, I went to talk to her, and I'm like, hey, I was going to do this back in 22, but now that this hormone thing's going on, and I'm realizing, we both realize there's no education for us. We're like, let's just shift it a little bit. It's still an empowering community, but we're really getting loud about the hormones, and hey, pay attention, and don't take your doctor's word for it if he dismisses you.
And first of all, they don't even deal in this. They don't even check your hormones, right? They don't even look at it. But they will for a man. They will look at the testosterone and take those levels, but they'll give you an antidepressant or something to cover up, mask, you know, what you're doing. So that's great. So from there, you started this online community.
We just started on Instagram.
Okay.
And we didn't even plan for it to take off the way it did. We just started sharing, really, and sharing our stories, sharing information. And
so I see it's sideways, but I see this box right here.
I don't know why it's sideways.
Tell us how it led into that.
So then the community just started growing, and we had a lot of women reaching out to us saying, "Oh my God, I feel like you're talking about us. We finally feel heard," and it just blossomed from there. And then we had the idea about the subscription box because we were trying all these different products. You know, yes, we're doing hormone therapy, but you also have to be careful about what you put on your skin. You have to be careful about what you ingest, all of that, supplements, everything. So we had been doing all this research anyway, and that's when we really decided, you know, we could do this as a monthly subscription box where we're trying the products, we're doing the work for the women who are subscribing, instead of them having to go digging through and finding things that will work.
And it's a lot of digging. It is. It's complete overwhelm, honestly, with the products that are out there for everybody. So
every day there's a new thing that comes up on my Instagram. Try this for this. Try this for that. Do your hips hurt? Do your, and you're like, should I get it? Should I get it? You know, it's like the cabinet starts to begin to be filled with items.
We just saw something the other day. Euphoric. Well, you don't need to do alcohol. Just get this drink. It's euphoric. It's like,
have you checked the tracking? We can wait for it to come in.
We did order it.
Oh my gosh,
what's the name of it?
Yeah, we want to try it.
It's fantastic. You'll have to look it up.
We actually have some samples that we were sent of things like that. We haven't tried yet.
Oh, that's so fun.
It's actually in my email. I can find it real quick.
That's great to be able to try those and then find out. Is that your box where you can, I know we showed a picture of it, but let's see what it looks like.
I didn't know.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you.
What would be funny is if you get T-shirts made. You wear that in the grocery store.
That's in the process.
Well, hi, I'm. Are you single?
The first person we're sending one to is Gordon.
It's MyoClean.
MyoClean, yes.
Okay.
No alcohol, no hangover, no every single ingredient in the product is here we give them a shameless commercial. Is all natural herbs and oils and things like that. But
I was going to say the first thing we go to is the ingredients. That's important.
Yes, and that's exactly what we did. We researched each product to see what it was that's in there. But so we're anxious. We're one of those. We want to try it. Well, so show your box one more time there. Show your
Gordon.
It's this box. Showing the box. SheBang. And so how can we get hold of it? Because we got to take a break here and move on to the next. I wish we could stay around and talk because I could talk forever about that subject. So you're going to have to come back and talk more. And
they can go to the website. It's getshebang.com. So the box, we've already released the July box. The July box is, the cart's closed for the July box, but the August box we will be releasing probably the end of this month, and so they can get on the wait list. And so they will be the first to know when the August box is announced.
So I was just looking. I was like, oh,
and you're on Instagram and all that.
And we're on Instagram. It's SheBang Menopause on Instagram. We share everything on Instagram, and we're on TikTok. We're trying it. You know, we're 250-plus-year-old women trying to do TikTok.
There's so much to learn to get there, but I think it's fabulous. In fact, Cindy Blake, a friend of mine, she forwarded your information to me. She said, "You've got to meet them. They've got this great, new idea that they're starting." And then of course I went to your site. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get to know you.
She just sent me a message and I told her, and then all of a sudden you reached out. I'm like, well, that was fast.
I know. Thank you for reaching out.
She's on top of it. She's always on top of it.
Well, I don't know about that, but you'd like to wish it.
Wow.
Wow, we really went there.
We're on top of it, like smart.
We only get 15 minutes.
I say let's continue.
These are hours.
We can really keep going.
And it's the perfect happy hour, so we should have cocktails, and we've got a little brandy and Stolac with some judgment tree.
So real quick, Rainie Howard's coming on, and we're going to be talking about what is your superpower. So what is your superpower?
Connection. I think bridging the gap, finding the, speaking our truth and finding the women and connecting everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, mine would be just that, but also just the straight up honesty. I don't sugarcoat anything anymore. If it's not working,
nobody got no time for that.
No.
And don't you think friendship, which really helped you two, was your friendship? And there really is something special about women having a friendship and being able to talk about things that are kind of intimate within, that understanding, because really only you could understand each other. I mean, you can tell a man how you feel, but they really don't understand what you're truly going through. And so to have that friendship and then connection and then getting out into the community is so important.
And encouraging everyone to talk, to go ahead and talk about it.
It's amazing how many women are afraid to talk about it.
I know.
And they just suffer in silence. But we were those people.
Yeah.
We were those people.
There's nothing that you should hide about that. It's just all part of the process.
No.
And I always said, we used to be a spokesperson for hormonal therapy place, and I used to always say, first of all, it's like the fountain of youth, and then second, if your hearing goes out or your eyesight goes out, you just don't walk around blind or not being able to hear. You go and get that taken care of. So it's the same thing with your body. When things aren't working properly and there's something that you can do to better that, you absolutely should. And it's sad that our medical industry is not supplying this for us. You have to pay it out of, first of all, they don't take care of preventative care whatsoever.
No.
And so that's preventative care. This is what keeps you from all the things that start going wrong by taking care of your hormones. Hormones, they are the like gel in your joints. It regulates your temperature. I mean, I always think that women,
everything.
Yes, and from women a long time ago, I really think that's why a lot of women kind of get a little bit crazy in their older age, because they don't have any hormonal replacement. The temperature in their body's off. Everything's not working properly. Your brain doesn't work right.
You hear that, men? They're not crazy.
Yeah, we're not crazy.
They just need some help.
They just need more help.
They need some help, and it's real quickly, because it's so much with guys too, because we have a thing on Saturday morning called Coffee and Conversations at a friend's house, and all these guys get together, and
friendship,
we're all older
communication.
guys, and you'd be surprised at how many men this conversation came up last Saturday, and they were like, I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could get identical
testosterone
hormones.
and identical hormones
I didn't know
for
you could
men.
do that,
They just thought, they didn't, I don't even know if they knew women.
There's so many people that just don't even know there's options.
Exactly. So it is really, really awesome that you're doing this. So I'm going to join your community. I think I did, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to check. And I was just trying to make sure I met you. So I've got to make sure I clicked all the right buttons to be part of.
So if we started a men's thing, what would it be called?
Bang bang.
You know bang. That's I love it. She already came up with it.
What did you say?
He bang. I don't know why was my husband part of it. He bang.
I love it.
Might not be a good idea.
Am I turning red here?
Yes, you are completely red.
It's a little hot in here.
That's funny.
Well, we'll come back with Rainie Howard here on the In Your City show. SheBang, Dodie, Laurie, thank you so much for bringing this community together so that women can learn and help one another to get through times that are really difficult. So, and sometimes it happens very young too. It's not just when you're 50 plus. Sometimes it happens at a very young age to a lot of girls. So thank you so much. I can't wait to get to know you both more.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back with more on thelutinfo.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
In Your City show right here at thelutinfo.com, and of course KLIS 590 streaming 24/7. And I'm Kelly Lamb.
And I'm Gordon Montgomery.
And we're just rounding out to the top of the hour, and we've got our relationship expert Rainie Howard in the house.
Hello.
Got a little traffic out there going today. Yes. It's crazy.
It was. You know they're doing construction on Lindbergh, so
they're doing construction everywhere.
There's nowhere.
I had to do a full detour.
Oh, I got caught it the other day and had to go to Conway.
Yes.
Yep, same thing, and that road was backed up forever.
And my GPS took me that way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me too. I get it. Construction can make you crabby. You should have used your superpower.
Right. I should have, right.
So today you're talking about what's your superpower and do you actually use it? When you think of superpower, of course you think of Marvel movies or something like that. Superhero, not, a superpower.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
So your superpower is really what you're strong in. Like, what is your strength? What are you good at? What do people see you as? Wow, you're super in this area. So
that's hard to know because I don't think we ever give ourselves credit. I know I said I don't know what I'm good at, or he can sing and he can play musical instruments and you're smart, and I'm just kind of like
you're witty, you're intelligent.
I just have a good time.
You get a lot of things done. thoughtful.
Yes.
Oh,
You're-
that's not a superpower.
That's what I'm noticing. It's easier for other people to notice your
maybe
superpower than you.
Yeah.
Often.
We're very hard on ourselves. I don't think, does this look right? Doesn't look right? Am I fat? Am I, you have bad hair a day? I mean, there's always something. Women, I think, are much worse than men.
My superpower, though, that I don't have is not telling her when her hair's not right. Because I always get in trouble. Why didn't you tell me I
supposed to have
look like
my
this?
back. All of a sudden I look at the screen later. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that I had a big bird coming out the back of my hair?
Because I'm a guy. We're not too observant sometimes.
He didn't notice.
You didn't. Like, you had to tell me these things.
You look fine to me.
But I think we're hard on ourselves. It is really hard to figure out what that is. So do you suggest that we ask someone else, or do you say we dive deep into ourselves?
You know, because you would be surprised. I actually asked my husband and my daughter, I was like, what do you think? So my daughter said, my superpower, I said, if I was a superhero, what would be my superpower? She said, reading minds. I was like, really?
Reading minds.
And then my husband said, you're intuitive and you can kind of see what's coming. I was like, oh. And then I don't watch Marvel, but he said it's a superhero named Doctor Strange.
Yes, I know.
And he said that's similar. I was like, really? Okay, I have to look at it.
Out of all the
now.
superheroes, you picked Doctor Strange. It's like Wonder Woman was there. Was that not one you were thinking of?
Well, I think he said because Doctor Strange can meditate and see what's to come.
Okay.
Or something like that.
You didn't see that
You're going to have to
detour. You didn't
watch
see
it
that
now.
detour coming, though, before.
Yeah.
I didn't use my superpower at all, right?
That happened with the psychic we had on the show that got caught in traffic or something. Like, weren't you supposed to know that was already up ahead of you? But I guess, you know, and a lot of women are intuitive, and some are much stronger with it than others.
Yeah.
And that capability to use that brain in a different, you know, magnitude than other people. But so tell us a little bit more. You're talking about confidence, self-worth, discovering. So we're talking about that right now.
Yes.
Discovering what does set you apart. How do we do that and find that
it's
and
important,
own it?
Exactly. I think it's important that we build self-awareness by really getting to know ourselves, you know, spending time with ourselves, journaling, asking questions. You know, I like to journal certain questions like, what is it that I want to accomplish within the next 3 months when it comes to business or health and fitness or whatever, you know, just really getting to know who you are, which builds more confidence. And then as you build more confidence and you know more about yourself, you can also empower other people to do the same.
You know, it's really true. Journaling, I have a couple of them, and I'm really slacking on it now. That they're tidbits here and there. I guess I probably tended to lean into the journaling when life was really difficult. You know, when I had lost everything and things were happening and I was sick and things were kind of spiraling, and that's when I started journaling. And at first it was bad stuff, but then when I ripped all those pages out, I started putting things I'd learned or quotes or positive messages, and I really think that helped save me and figure out the path of where I was going. But then when things are good, then all of a sudden you kind of, and then it gets too busy, and then you forget
you
to
get complacent.
Yeah,
You just kind of go.
it's hard to find that quiet time to really find yourself. Sometimes I turn the radio off in the car and just drive quietly so that my brain can at least have a moment of peace.
Yes.
And just no music, no phone, no talk to anybody, nothing, and just until I hit traffic. Then I need to journal because I want to hurt somebody.
Right.
But is there, so journaling would be a good way?
Definitely journaling, and just having your me time, really reflecting, whether that's going on a walk, a hike, just really getting to know you. What do you enjoy? Like, I discovered a few years ago that I actually like hiking. I never knew that.
I wouldn't know that about myself.
Something about being in nature, isn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't
early walks. It's
that's
so dark
something
out.
I didn't know about myself. But I remember things came up, and I felt like how I felt as a kid riding my bike outside. Like, I need to do more of this because something in me just lit up just from being out in nature.
We're so consumed right now. In fact, they're even talking about that our work day is no longer, you know, there used to be a time where you went to work 8 or 9 to 5. And when
Right.
we came home, you know, it was family time, and
You were
you were done, and you only had a phone at the house. So growing
Right.
up, so people could only reach you when you were at home. I can remember being at work and my mom calling the work phone, you know, because there were no phones to reach you. So you really did have that time. And we go way back. Things weren't open on Sunday. So you even had that day which were bored stiff. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. But
Actually, we weren't, though. We did things.
well, we played, I guess. But I mean, when the malls opened, it was like, I want to go to the mall, but they weren't open on Sunday. But it was different. Whereas now, everything's open with computers and technology.
We're
That's
consumed
24/7.
by so much.
And bosses are people you work for, or if you're an entrepreneur and you're working, you work all the time, and people feel they can call you all the time, and you
have your personal cell phone and all of that.
You get up in the morning, what do? First thing you do, you might check your emails or check social media, whereas there wasn't any of that at one time. So you just got up and made breakfast or had coffee or got your kids off to school or whatever it was. You weren't even thinking about work because it wasn't in front of you.
Right.
Now it's in front of you 24/7, and you're expected to even look at that. So it's like, how do you keep from it swallowing you up and constantly pulling you in, or someone that has a boss that is calling them at all hours to take care of things, expecting it?
I've noticed when you're that person where you get ideas, work ideas, maybe you are having your me time and then you have this work idea and you're like, oh man, I should just go and get this done. Just write it down, make a note to yourself to get to it later. But I think you have to schedule in your quiet me time, schedule in your fun time, and get away from work. And if you get those ideas or someone calls you or whatever, you don't always have to answer the phone. You can send it to voicemail. You can reply later. You know, I'm the type of person, I keep my phone on silence all the time. And I
get in trouble for it.
He gets in big trouble for it.
But I can hear my watch vibrate, and I can see who it is. Like if it's an emergency, I could kind of see, oh, okay, this is my child. Let me pick it up. You know,
right?
But
that's smart.
If it's somebody I could call later,
give your watch
You see
set
the
to
look?
do that?
You see the look? It's coming my way.
We've got too many important phone calls that we can't miss. So, but if you could see it, I think that is smart. You know, to be able to do that. But isn't that like? I'm hearing you say, and I've heard many people, coaches, things say, schedule your workout, schedule your quiet time, schedule your meditation, schedule to eat. There's times it'll be 4 o'clock. I'd be in my office. I haven't even come down. I haven't even had anything to eat. I forgot to bring water maybe into my office, so I haven't even had anything to drink, and I'm dehydrated. It's absolutely ridiculous, our work days. But isn't that sad that our life has become so busy that we have to schedule quiet time? Or that's ridiculous, actually.
I think what I'm learning is being intentional about whatever it is you're trying to do, like whether it's making sure that you rest, taking care of yourself. Because what I'm learning in my health and fitness journey is your recovery and rest time is just as important as the workout. And so knowing how to balance and how to take breaks is going to help you to be stronger in your pursuit of whatever it is you're doing, whether it's your business or your relationships, but making sure that you make that space for yourself.
And we really have to, because we just keep getting busier and busier, and think about it. You've got a watch on to tell you who's calling, what's going on. You have your phone, that's your backup. We've got a laptop sitting here with us. There's all this stuff constantly churning. And then, like we said, you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is you dive, right into it. Right. The news used to only be on poor thing, she's like, really? the news used to be on in the morning, and it was in the morning. I know we always had 5 o'clock news, and there was like a 10 o'clock news. I can remember my grandma watching the 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but
it was like 3 times a day.
Yeah.
That was it. And TV actually
now it's
went off
hours.
with the Target, the little Target thing, and going, and TV was gone. I mean, it's weird to say that I can remember being a kid, and that's the way it was. And it's only going. I mean, I'm sure that pretty soon I won't need this laptop. There'll be a hologram type screen that I'll be looking up at.
They got glasses that are almost like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, they are constantly designing something to keep us.
They don't want to lose our attention.
Yeah, to keep our attention, to entrap us in something that we need to look at or feel that we're missing out.
Right.
You know, if we don't have it. So I really need to find my superpower. What's your superpower, Gordon? You were talking about that earlier, and you said you'd make it acceptable on air.
My superpower with her, though, is touch.
Wow, you went there.
All I do is touch her.
Are we at PG level? Is that PG level?
I just said touch. I didn't say.
Oh, I went all the way there.
That's a love language, you know, physical touch.
It's a magical superpower.
No, I think one of my superpowers, and I just find myself being always saying yes to serving someone, helping someone, do something for someone.
That can also be
That can also be, a deterrent. And not me not getting stuff done because I'm too busy to, like, Casey,
I think
can you fix my sunroof?
Can.
Carly, can you fix my... I'm like, yes,
oh my gosh,
but
the
I'm
kids
always
are like,
eager to do it. I'm always eager to do it. I love doing that stuff, though.
Yeah, you're very, very...
servantship.
Servantship is you are big at.
Servant leader.
Communication, your big heart, besides your talents of the things that you have, you know, you do have a lot of talent. A lot of superpowers. You do. And you can see that in someone else. No, but you don't see it yourself. I don't think he sees that in himself.
No.
I know I don't. I'm still sitting here right now. I have no idea what my superpower is. It might be, I don't know. I don't know.
You light up a room when you walk in. That's a superpower. When you can walk into a room and just automatically it lights up, that's a trait that not a lot of people have.
That's true.
Wow.
Your presence, you radiate.
No, and I'm sure people are agreeing with me right now that are listening to it. That know
wow,
you.
that was really nice to say. I don't even want to go to break, and now I got to go to break. Gosh darn it. Rainie Howard, it is always a pleasure to have you talking relationship with us. Can't wait to see what you have for us next week. I'm going to work on my superpower here, and we'll be right back with more on LouInfo.com. Thanks, Rainie.
Thanks for having me.
It's still happy hour here at the In Your City show on luinfo.com, KLIS 590, streaming 24/7. You can watch anytime you'd like. Get your mocktail, get your cocktail, whatever it is, and stay with us for the next hour because we've got a great guest in the house with us right now. First, I want to tell you about the St. Louis Closet Company. You met Jennifer Williams if you were watching the other day. She was in the studio with us. She's a powerhouse woman in business, the first, that is, to even start a closet company over 30 years ago. And what's cool about it, if you're watching virtually right now at luinfo.com, you're going to see the actual manufacturing plant that is with their studio. They literally tailor everything to meet your needs. It's not a cookie cutter. They design what you need, whether it's your mudroom, your basement, your closet, pantry, whatever it might be. You know, and you don't have to start big. You can start small. Pick one room, pick one area, pick one closet, because it truly makes a difference in your living. One of the things that they're known for that makes them stand out is their floor-based systems that add strength and stability while giving you that seamless built-in look. Such a natural finish to a room and so helpful. One of her lines is to go from chaos to calm, because really when you're cluttered and you're a mess and you can't find things and it's taking you an hour to get ready because your closet is just piled high with stuff, having that transformed into what you need to fit your needs is definitely makes you go to calm. And she always says go to chaos to calm.
Having a place for everything is so important, especially with the kids. When the grandkids come over, what is it they do? They immediately lose their shoes. There's one in the living room, there's one in the bedroom, and then when it's time to go somewhere, I can't find my shoes, I don't know where they are.
I think
so when you have those mud rooms and you have everything where...
And even if you don't have a mud room, you could still make a wall that is a unit, you know, that would be on the wall. You don't actually have to, like if you don't have that extra room for that, she can design an actual cabinetry space that all the kids' stuff can go to, which is super helpful. So
super important.
If you want to go to Chaos to Calm, go ahead and start with St. Louis Closet Company. Jennifer's always there, and if she's not, one of her amazing team members will be there for you. So there you go, St. Louis Closet Company. There you go. And now we're going to meet our guest today, Tim Meers. He is the general chairman for the Celebrate St. Louis. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
It's really fun. This KLIS, the luinfo.com, literally is only in its third week. It's a baby. It's infancy. It's growing. Everything is, the site itself is growing all the time. The shows that are growing. And so we've been able to meet so many people and find out about things.
Hasn't it been fun?
Yeah, you think you know what's going on in the city you've lived in forever, and you really don't. And when you start having these people in, restaurants we didn't know existed. I didn't even know, we're right around the corner from July 4th. I didn't even know this was going to be back again to celebrate the 4th of July. So it's really cool, and thank you for being here.
How did it get here so quick? Do you ever ask yourself that every year?
Well, I do, and it starts on July 7th after the event.
I bet.
The planning process, and I open up the leader meetings with I count down the days, and so now we're 13 days away, and so every time we're talking to the leadership, it's like
13
it's
days
just
of July
closer.
4th. Knock it off. The summer should not even be kind of halfway over. That makes me sad. Yeah. What is the title? You're general chairman. What does that mean, Tim?
So I have purview over all of the other subcommittees that it takes to pull off this entire event. It's a franchise in itself when you've got to put on an event with the fireworks, the national music acts, all the food, then you've got all the safety and security and coordinating with all of those agencies, National Park Service and City of St. Louis, and it's a massive event and undertaking to get it all put together and have it culminate on the 2 days that you want it to happen.
Wow, that's incredible, and you get to be a huge part of figuring that all out.
It's been very, very fun for me. I really enjoy telling the story that I started to come down to this event when I was very young. My grandparents would bring me down in the early 80s, and here I am today, kind of as the general chairman. It's just very full circle, and it's very
satisfying. Has to be really surreal, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun.
I can remember being down there, and I can remember taking the kids down there, and then to think, that being little and being part of that, and then coming back, and then just being a huge part of making sure that it all happens.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's the thing, is watching the kids, seeing the families come down, knowing that they're making memories that I still think about, and my memories are just a little grander now that we're involved in it so much.
You say families and people, and all of a sudden I just see crowds.
Yes.
So how is that? I mean, what a challenge is that, to have to set everything up to where the crowds can be directed in a uniform manner and get to where they need to go. I bet that's a chore in itself.
Well, it really is, because you have to start planning from really way outside and kind of work your way into the riverfront, making sure that you've got the traffic design is planned so that people can get into the city, and at the end of the evening they can get back out, working with the parking garage companies, working with the street department, all of those entities. It takes all that coordination for many, many months to get
Look
there.
at all those people.
Yeah, that was last year. Look at that.
Wow. It's like, how do you do that? How do you begin to do that? So tell us a little bit about what is going to be going on. What, from the day that, it starts, July 3rd?
July 3rd.
Okay. So will there be different things going on than there are on July? Does it end on July 4th, or does it extend a day?
It's going to be 2 days this
Okay,
year. So
3rd
July
and 4th.
3rd, July 4th, and then everybody kind of gets to the weekend back and they can go do what they would like. But I think coming downtown for the iconic traditional events, this is over 40 years that this event has been going on.
Wow.
Really only had to take 1 year. Well, there was 2 years off right around
I
COVID.
thought there were a couple.
Around COVID, and then kind of had a reboot.
I think everybody took a time off then,
It was
right?
tough coming back, for sure. But so let's talk about this year. So we're really excited. We've got a couple really neat new things that are happening this year that I'm very excited to talk about. One of them just got announced yesterday.
Ooh,
so it's kind of fresh.
Feels so new.
Yeah,
all right.
So July 3rd, gates will open at 4 o'clock. And we've got a great lineup of music that night, but it'll culminate with Russell Dickerson, which is our country act that night, nationally known. He's got great music, and he puts on a really, really good show. That evening, we also have a great event. It is Thriving Veterans. Throughout St. Louis, we're going to be recognizing. We've got 10 of them that we're going to be bringing on stage. And these are veterans who are doing great things in our city, not only for themselves, their family, and other nonprofits that they work with. So we'll have those 10 veterans, their families, and some of the nonprofits they support will be highlighted on stage, and we've got a great VIP experience for them that evening to just let them have a great night. And so that's going to be a really fun piece to be able to give to the crowd and for those folks as well.
Yeah. Now, so that will be that it will begin with that, but it'll begin with the music. And when you say the gates open, now this is free, right?
It is correct. Yeah, certainly should highlight that. We're committed to making a free event for everybody. And it's been like that for decades now. And so, yeah, it's no cost to come down. Just come down to the Arch area. The main stage is on Lenore K. Sullivan, right in front of the grand staircase.
Okay.
That's exactly how it was set up last year. So you've got all of the Arch grounds to enjoy the fireworks from. You can see and hear the concert from a good portion of that. Of course, you've got the stairs, and then we've got all the great food and vendors down on Lenore K. Sullivan.
Are the fireworks just on July 4th?
Are
there fireworks both nights?
Two nights,
okay.
Yes.
And then are they at night, usually like around 9 p.m. usually?
A little later than that. We usually start around 9:40 because we want it to be completely dark. We are, if people don't know this, we are in the top 10. We're actually pretty high on that list of national fireworks shows across the nation.
Wow, that's
fabulous. And that came out in the U.S. Magazine this year again, and so we're really excited to be on that list every year.
I bet you are. Tell me about where it says Celebrate St. Louis returns with Superman drone show music headlines. Yeah. You're talking about Russell Dickerson, but you didn't say the word Superman.
So on the 4th of July, this is the part that we just announced yesterday.
Okay.
So on the 4th, we have partnered with Warner Brothers Studios, and we're using a company called Fantasy Drone Shows, and they're going to come in and bring 400 drones, and we're going to have, it's the first we've ever done it, and we think it's the first in St. Louis to have one of this magnitude down in front of the Arch. This massive drone show that's going to highlight Superman the movie that's released on July 11th. The director of that movie is from St. Louis, and so he was critical in helping us get this all coordinated together. So there's going to be over 11 different Superman themed images that they'll transition through on this drone show, and I've seen a preview of it. It's going to be amazing, especially with the Arch right there and Superman flying in.
And so that'll happen, before the fireworks take place or something?
Correct. We're thinking it's going to be right around 9:20.
Okay.
So it's going to be about a 15-20 minute show, and then the fireworks will launch directly after that. So that's going to be an amazing new ad that we've got this year.
What is the process like, to pick this band? Do they come to you, or do you have to research to figure out who you're going to have on stage that works perfect? Because you really have quite a array of ages and individuals that come to this. It's family. How do you pick the right music?
It's a really good question, because you're right. There's lots of factors that go into it. One, we're not a ticketed event, so we're a free venue. So you got to find bands that are interested in, you know, just being paid to be there versus having ticket sales. And then you've got the fact that there is so many more musical festivals than there used to be, say 10 to 20 years ago. So there's lots of competition for who's actually out on the road right now and is already playing someplace else. So we really start looking for bands around August, September, and you try to have those locked in by December is like our goal anyway.
Oh gosh.
And so then you whittle that down, and now we look at, okay, who is going to really you know, be welcoming and play well to a very diverse crowd.
Right.
And you try to have some diversity in your music, so you've got a little bit of something for everybody. And then it's a family presentation as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to take all those things into account, and you whittle it down to who you're going to get.
And you talk about kids and you talk about families, so you got fun zones and stuff like that for kids?
We do. So up on the Arch Grounds at the South Teardrop, we've got two things happening up there. We have the Missouri Family Fun Zone that's going to have activities for kids and families to do, and it's going to be in conjunction with a new event that we're doing this year, which is called Hands On with Heroes. So we're going to have another set of veteran non-for-profit organizations that are really there to just kind of get their name out of who they are and what they do in St. Louis, but they want to engage with the community and do some things with them. So they're going to bring different activities to the site and engage with families along with the Family Fun Zone.
Have you always involved things and made it really impactful with the veterans before? Or it seems like I'm hearing you say that a lot, which is wonderful and so important, because it is what it's about, and our veterans do need so much help.
So about 14 years ago is how I got started in this event. Is I volunteered for, at that time it was the Salute to the Troop event. We still carry that forward to today, and that's on the 4th of July. And that's a really exciting event that we have on the 4th. It's about midway in our lineup as far as entertainment on the stage. We've partnered with two local nonprofits. One of them's Grunt Style Foundation, and the other one's Irreverent Warrior Foundation. They both host the event for us. So we bring down a lot of veterans. We have a great stage presentation. They get a lot of high energy. They engage with the crowd. And then we have a VIP experience for those folks as well, and just kind of giving back to those individuals.
How many what does it take to put on an event like this? I mean, are most of the people volunteers? Do you have to hire a big team? How has this even come? People really need to realize what goes into this to give something free to our communities, our cities.
So I can break it down like this. We have about 1.5 paid staff people, and the rest of it is volunteers.
Oh my gosh.
All the heavy lifting is really done by the volunteers.
So be nice, be courteous, say thank you when you're there. Don't expect something.
Yes, we do it for the love of it.
Yeah.
We enjoy doing it. Many of the volunteers, they've been doing it for many years. It's part of kind of ingrained in their family. Maybe their dads did it, now they're doing it. We've got people from all over the city that are volunteering to be a part of this, both on the leadership team and just day of volunteers. So all together, we have hundreds of volunteers when it boils down to it.
Let me ask you a question too. So you got a lot of vendors down there, right?
Yes.
With food and stuff.
Yeah.
So what is the protocol down there? Because I know I've gone in the past, in years past. Is cash? Do they go to get tickets and then they take the tickets to the vendors? How does that work?
So it's going to be cash and card. So
Okay.
we'll be able to make it really simple. And
Okay, good.
90% of people are using cards these days.
Yeah,
So
I never have cash on me.
Just got square machines and go. So we've got two great local food vendors that are going to take care of the bulk of the food. We've got Steve's Hot Dogs and we have Sugar Fire.
What has Steve Ewing's everywhere, isn't he?
Yes,
Oh
he
my
is.
God, he was just sitting in that chair.
Well, and he's one of our performers on the 4th, which is going to be amazing.
That's great.
So we got Steve.
Oh my gosh, he's been busy.
Yes, he actually headlined last year on the 4th, and that was an amazing show. He's coming back, so he's going to be on us on the 4th, and we've also got a local rock band, is Stir, and they're also playing on that night on the 4th.
Do you know Stir, Gordon?
Yes.
And then Gavin DeGraw is our headliner that evening.
Okay, so you were talking about, now there'll be vendors, other food vendors will be coming in and setting up, or
Correct.
this is all supplied by the city that's setting up vendors?
We handle all the vendors and everything that's set up. Yes.
Everything's coming in. Will there be alcoholic beverages, beer, things like that
There
you can
will.
get?
We will have several beer tents. We'll have a couple up as you enter the Arch Grounds up on Market near where the old Channel 5 building was downtown. So we'll have some beer tents
Or
up there.
Channel 4, you mean?
Channel 4.
Channel 5's up a little bit.
That's right. And then down on Lenore K. Sullivan, we'll have several bars down there that serve both, beer and canned beverages, and then non-alcoholic drinks as well.
Sure.
Cotton candy, a lot of the traditional fair food, but the big two as far as meals go is going to be Sugar Fire. And
do you have a moment from all the times that you've been doing this that stands out above the rest?
I got to say, last year was one of those with the Urge playing, their energy they brought that night, and you had the picture up earlier of that crowd shot from the stage. It was the first year we had done the stage like we did down on Lenore K. Sullivan.
Look at that.
And it was amazing to stand on that stage and to see the crowd out there. It was really fun to do.
And so let me ask, you had this crowd, you have all these people. There's a lot of people sometimes that worry safety and going into the city, and it's so nice to know that you're putting on this event and bringing so many people together to have an enjoyable time to celebrate, our country, the United States, on July 3rd and 4th. How do you go about to assure that we can come down there with our family and feel safe?
I can actually talk to that very well. So prior to me being general chairman, one of the committees that I was involved with for many years was called Government Services. And so that entire team's job is to work with all the government agencies to ensure that we have a great safety plan, that we have everything that we need, and that everything is coordinated together. So, for example, there's about 22 different acronym names out there that we work with between the City of St. Louis, Fire, EMS, County, State, and then you've got FBI, TSA, Coast Guard. The list just goes on and on and on.
Sad to think that we need all that, isn't it?
We do. Well, it's because it's such an interesting location. You have a federal park, so you've got the National Park Service you work with. You have a railroad that runs underneath that federal park. You have the Riverway. You've got trains that run on Metro, the highway. So you get all these agencies that are just like focused on this one little postage stamp place, and everybody has an interest in making it safe. And so, historically, we've had a very good event, a very safe event. We've managed to get people in, get them back home, and have a great night.
And pray for good weather.
Yes, we
it's a lot of work, and you don't know what the weather's going to be.
Lately, it's
we've had a lot of rain, but the river is down, so that's good.
Good.
Logistically, that helps us. We've got a little cobblestone for a back of house to make sure we can do things. Last year, as we were loading out, so the day after, when we were leaving, the water was coming up so quick, we were just getting the stuff off Lenore K. Sullivan as the water was lipping up over the edge of the roadway. So this year we don't have to worry about that. And the National Weather Service said 85 and sunny, we're good.
Perfect.
So we're gonna have perfect
Are there
weather.
any of still the riverfront boats that are still down there? Do they have to move anything like that when you put something like this on?
So we don't have to move any of the boats. There is still the one dinner cruise that's down there, and then there's the helicopter company, and they're going to be flying the entire time that the fair is going on. So those that want helicopter rides can be able to get down there and do that as well. And then I know that the riverboat is having dinner service as well, and we've got accommodations for those people that have tickets to get on that boat.
And for those people that want to get crazy and get in their boat and get on the river, do they have that blocked off between the arch area, or is it still accessible for people?
So it should still be accessible. My understanding is that they will close it about 30 minutes prior to the drone show and fireworks shoot, because there's a safety zone that has to be there for those pyrotechnics.
Sure. Oh, and how long is the show?
So the drone show is going to be somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, my understanding.
Wow.
And then the fireworks typically go on 28 to 35 minutes, depending on...
I always when you're a kid and you're watching it and you're like, yay, you think it's all, you get this big boom, boom, boom. You're like, oh, wow, that was great. It's over. Oh, no, it's not over.
Still going, yes.
It starts shooting back up again. You're like, we're not done again. And it'll happen like 3 times when you think it's over.
Little fake grand finales.
That's what I want to know. What, if you can speak to this, what is the average cost to put on a fireworks show?
So it all depends on length of time, but it's a 6-figure event for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. You going to do it next year again?
Absolutely. So 250.
You'll start the next day.
We will.
Actually, that's going to be a big deal.
It is a huge deal, and our goal is to get it back to 3 days next year.
So are you already talking about something different and bigger and better, being that it's 250?
We've already been having meetings about it. So
my gosh.
It's good that we're planning early, and we'll be in full swing directly after this event.
And then so when you say 3 days, is that the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, or you think you're going to start 2 days before the 4th?
I
guess it depends on what day What day is the 4th's on a Friday this year?
I believe the 4th is on a Saturday next year.
Next year. It's Friday this year. So which you could have been Thursday,
committed,
Friday, Saturday.
We haven't committed to the days yet because we have to do that coordination with the city, and also taking a look at the Cardinal schedule. This year the Cardinals are not in town, so that makes things a little easier for our event. When they are in town, that just adds to.
Oh my gosh, I can't even
chaos
imagine.
downtown.
Yeah, because you can't do anything about when the 4th is. You need to tell the Cardinals they need to schedule better if they get in the way then. How's it been working with the new mayor with going with the event? Which I guess, what are you going to do? Oh, it's been terrible.
No. Kara's actually been phenomenal to work with. I worked with her when she was the alderwoman in that area. And so it's been a very good relationship. We've always really had a pretty good relationship with the mayor's office. But Kara's really excited to be working with us this year and has made things very easy for us.
Gosh, I think the only thing I did, were you going to ask a question?
No.
Oh, it's not.
I've already asked all my questions.
So I did see you have a local teen talent showcase. Is that something people are trying out for, or what is that about?
So this is the second year we've had the local teens from the Muni that come down, or from the Fox Theater, I'm sorry, and they come down and they put on different things that they do musically on stage, and we've got them worked into our schedule. So on CelebrateSt.Louis.org, that's really like your one-stop shop for our website to see what's going on. We're updating it, especially this time of the year. Like for the next week, it's just going to continue to be updated with everything that's new, making sure there's no changes in the times, traffic, but those kind of things will be listed on there. When are those kids?
Is there like a map on there too as well?
Yes. So actually Monday we'll be uploading the new traffic plan, so you'll see what are the best exits to get into downtown and right into the parking garages to make it easy. And then you'll be able to see how you're going to get out as well.
Okay, great. Gosh, it sounds like, is there anything that you didn't mention that we didn't pull out here to make sure that they know about?
Well, I think I just always want to remind people, this is a free event. It's very family focused. We do a lot of work to make this a great event for everybody to come down and enjoy. And I really hope that we people will want to come down and enjoy the 4th with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, do you have kids?
I do.
So are they excited to be able to be part of this?
They are. So my youngest daughter is 12, and she's kind of grown up in this event, and she's even doing a few interviews and doing stuff with the Kids Zone. So she's she's
great.
Really involved in.
That's
wonderful.
She
thinks it's her event at this point in time.
How old is she again?
She's 12.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great age. Well, so let's see what so we were talking about today that we all apparently have a superpower, and are we using it? So what's your superpower?
Especially with the Superman drones coming.
What's your superpower?
Yeah. Wow. I think that for what I've done with this group over the last many years, the superpower that I feel that I have is making relationships with people throughout the city, so that we all have a common purpose of making this event really good.
Absolutely.
Anybody you want to give a shout out to that's just been an incredible help to you?
I've got to say that the St. Louis Police Department's been amazing.
That's good
They've
to
been
hear.
a really good partner. They've got all kinds of challenges, and they've got so many events right now. I mean, they've got the Pride that they just did. They've got things in Tower Grove. They've got our event coming up. They just did another. It's like they're so busy. I don't know how they have time.
Round of applause for them, right, for being there.
They're amazing. Yes.
Well, Tim Meers, thank you so much for coming in and letting us find out more about Celebrate St. Louis and what a spectacular July 4th it's going to be because of people like you that make great events for families to be able to go and enjoy. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. We'll be back with more here on the In Your City Show at louinfo.com, on demand 24/7, streaming at the louinfo.com. It's the new Lou Information Station, and we're the In Your City Show. You can please go to louinfo.com and subscribe. You can find the In Your City Show on Facebook, Instagram. We'd love your like, follow. We'd love your messages. Let us know if there's somebody out there we don't know about that we should have on the show, because we're meeting new people all the time, and we love it. So we'll be right back, because we're going to introduce you, if you don't know about this organization, A Seat at the Table. Quite incredible. We went to their gala this year, fell in love with it, and what they do for these young adults is quite incredible. Yes, so we'll be back and talk to Bob Sturgis more about that. And thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Probably thought we were kidding about coming back. We were just joking when I said we were going to be coming back and talking to Bob Sturgis about a seat at the table, but we are back. We're back in our last part of the happy hour. We hope you've had a good time. Hope you've had your favorite beverage and enjoying happy hour with us right here on luinfo.com. Streaming 24/7. I want to tell you about Otto Orthodontics as we get going. Gina Otto is incredible. She is a doctor there, a dentist with her husband, working with an incredible team that is there to brighten your smile and to brighten your day. If you're thinking about, boosting your smile, it's the perfect time. You can come in for a free consultation. They have the latest in orthodontic care, whether it's Invisalign, braces, whitening, or even a little Botox touch-up. They've got it covered. And what's even better, along with their 5 locations, Creve Coeur, De Pere, Fenton, St. Peters, and Wentzville, not only do they offer interest-free payments, but $1,000 off if you mention the In Your City show. $1,000 off your treatment. That's incredible. Every time we say it, I still go, wow, because that is a lot. OttoOrtho.com, OTTO Ortho.com. Smile with confidence because you deserve it. So go to Dr. Gina Otto. Let her brighten your day and brighten your smile, and that's OttoOrtho.com. So here we go. We are sitting here. We actually did a story on you all, I think maybe a couple years ago, and found out about it through, I know that our friends Brian and Debbie, but I'm not sure if that's where we heard about it,
Randy and Tiffany.
But I think I actually met you before, and then when we were invited to come by, it all made...
We went to the... Brian and Debbie invited us. You had a guitar player that came in at the place over there in Chesterfield.
That's
where we
is that what it was? I thought it was even before
John
that,
Lynch's
actually.
break room concerts, and we work through him.
Yeah, so we went to that, and then, of course, ended up writing a story, and then we went with Brian and Debbie as a guest and went to your gala this year, which was really a wonderful way to... It was probably one of the best experiences to really see what you all do, because you had actually some of the young adults there. And then when they went up on stage with their, items and talent, I guess I should say, their superpower that they have, that really touched my heart.
Magic, isn't it? Those kids are just fantastic. Thanks for being there.
Thank you. So for those that are wondering what the heck we're talking about, which is a seat at the table, tell us what a seat at the table is, and then we can kind of go back of why it became so powerful for you all to be such a huge force in it.
Thank you.
Why don't you go ahead?
So A Seat at the Table is a nonprofit, faith-based organization, and we look to come alongside 18 to 25-year-olds who don't have the necessary family support around them to successfully graduate into adulthood, right? And so these are kids who might be at risk of homelessness or other risks that are, they're just coming from a usually rough background and need a new atmosphere in order to thrive and to be able to enter adulthood successfully. And so we come alongside and add resources and counseling and things like that, but also parenting. Right. So we place them in residences with parents, and so they get to experience sort of a fuller, more family sort of, rather than organizational, which some of them have been a part of group homes and things where you have hired staff that come and go. We're placing them with families where they have people that are going to stick with them for the long haul.
So think of it as an extended faith-based foster system. Okay, so to give you perspective, there's more than 24. Probably some people will tell you almost close to 30, but if you Googled right now, you'd probably find there's 24,000 plus or 21,000 plus nonprofits in the St. Louis area. Of that, there's less than a dozen, less than 12 that deal with 18 to 25-year-olds.
It's kind of like your...
A ton of them up to 18,
right.
you know, and other causes, and like less than 12 that deal with up to 18 to 25-year-olds, and we're the only one out of 21,000 plus that offer that relational permanency. Host parents, not just a rotating staff of overnight people on a temporary stay.
And they may have not even experienced the joy of being in a family environment, because if they were kind of maybe fostered to foster, maybe they lucked out and were with a good family.
A single parent at best, though, but for the families of origin, it's typically a single parent. So none of them have experienced, none of them have ever been to a wedding. So that's kind of the other magic I think to see at table is it's a partnership. We partner with area pastors and/or we have 7 nominating youth organizations. And they're the ones that have eyeballs on these kids from middle school to high school. And they know they're high character, that despite their circumstances, they're high character. And they're picking them in particular and saying, you will do well if you just have stability. And that has proven true. Not only for the 5 we took in as a family before we started the nonprofit.
So that's my question then.
Yeah.
How you started then. You just said the magic word. You said the 5 we took in before this even started. So that is the inspiration behind this all. How did you end up doing, how did these young adults end up, 5 of them, in your home? Were they there one time, or over time you kept bringing one in?
18 years, but yeah.
Yeah, they came in 1 or 2 at a time. It started with a nephew who just needed a sort of a new atmosphere, was trying to break some unhealthy friendships and relationships, and was in a place where it was kind of a small pond to fish in, right, in terms of like expanding his circles. And so he came to live with us, and that went well. He lived with us a couple of years, moved out successfully, got on his feet, and soon after he moved out, we had a youth pastor who told us a story about another young man who was coming from a really rough family where there was drug abuse, substance abuse, and other abuses going on, and he needed a new place. And the pastor wasn't asking us to do anything. He just told us the story. And we went home, and neither of us could let it go. It just couldn't. It kept rolling around our heads, and as we looked at each other and thought about it, we thought, you know what, we have really what he mostly needs. We have shelter, we have food, we have an abundance of love, and we had 4 sons of our own, and so there's
I was just going to ask if you
camaraderie,
had
kids. Or
and they all knew him already.
And
so your sons were in the home at that time?
Always,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, for all of them.
So we made the invitation, and he came and lived with us for a couple of years, and that just sort of continued. That was those were the first couple of dominoes. Soon after, there was a young man that was really the youngest one that we've had with us, and he was middle school still, and he lived with us until he had his first apartment, and he was like 22, 23, and then 2 more from another youth organization in the city.
And are you still in touch with all of these young
absolutely
adults? It's like you're a home to them.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories is one of those last numbers 4 and 5 both came from Urban K-Life, which is a ministry in North St. Louis, kind of an after-school program. And on our church at the Crossing, Chris used to take our church youth group, a select group, down to their Thursday night youth group, and they would come out on Wednesday nights.
Just trying to mix it up and help them to get to know each other and realize that we're all more the same than different.
Right.
And then one of them in particular, our number 3 son, Ben, had
just bonded
very well with this kid while he's in high school, and said, I think he's going to be our next one. And sure enough, he was. But to give you, for instance, they're now both in their early 30s, a few years apart, and they have matching tattoos that say, I am my brother's keeper. And it's really kind of cool. Yeah, and they are. They literally, that young man, our son Ben, lives in Dallas with his wife. That young man moved down to Dallas, and he's near Ben still to this day.
And was in
and
his
they
wedding.
Still hang out.
Was in his wedding. He was
Florida.
Part of the. He was one of his groomsmen.
So it's really about doing life together, particularly being purposeful about maybe doing life together with people who don't look like us, who don't come from the same backgrounds, and there are a lot of, I think, great ministries and nonprofits who address to some degree the dichotomies, the differences and divisions in our. Yeah,
these individuals.
Those are the current ones, plus a girl who's just a friend of ours. Anyway, the net of it is it's more about proximity than just once in a while. Chrissy used to, just as a youth group, they kids go on mission trips. They go do something for a week, maybe on their spring break or their summer, but then there's no anything after that. And this is more about, no, if we're going to live differently, we're going to live in proximity. So we have, I think our code word is, somebody asked, well, how do you do this? Why do you do this? And I said, well, we kind of do messy better than most. So, maybe that's it. So.
Yeah. So I heard you mention you have boys, and then you talked about the boys, but is it for both young women and for young men?
Definitely. So we started with young men because that's what we knew.
Yeah.
And
right.
We had our own
before we started the
sons,
nonprofit. Yeah.
Sure.
That's how it kind of began. But since then, we also have a home up in Ferguson, Missouri that houses 4 young women. And,
with another set of house parents. So.
And so it feels like an idea that is just needed and necessary right now, and so it's.
Well, think about raising your kids and being, what parent has had an 18-year-old that even raised in a good family that is actually ready for life and knows how to do things. So when you are unfortunate to grow up in a non-family environment, to learn skills of parenting or what it should be like, I mean, it must just be mind-blowing for these young individuals to come into a home that's loving, that dinner's on the table. I mean, we take for granted these little things that we have that must be just like magic, miracle to these young adults.
It takes, almost unanimously, the kids that have been in our care have said it took them months to begin to trust that wasn't some sort of fake thing that only should be happening on TV. They sort of waited for some sort of veneer to fall off or something, and before they would realize that, oh no, this actually happens sometimes. Maybe people can live in a different way, and I think that's maybe one of the biggest benefits is just that the kids who come in get to glimpse something that looks different than what they had, and give them ideas for how they might choose to live differently than what was
to grow up,
what they
how to raise a
inherited
family
from their upbringing.
There's something to be said for somebody being able to have somebody they can count on, someone that can know that's there for them.
Yeah.
So you've got the 2 houses now. So I believe when we were at the gala, there was talk maybe a 3rd one, or
not so much houses. What we really are doing, and I literally go around as many weekends as I can and speak at different churches. I think since early January, I've probably been at 8 or 9 churches here, just every other weekend or so. The point is really trying to just recruit one host couple at a time to take one young person into their existing house.
Oh, okay.
The more we have houses, the more I become a property manager.
Right,
Replacing roofs and leaks and fixing. I really want to help take care of the young people and resource them. We'll provide the educational and vocational resources and the counseling, which is a real distinguishing aspect. So we'll help resource those host couples as needed. But that's the point, is let them do it in their own home one at a time. It's a lot easier, actually. You think of it, we brought 4 into each of these houses. They not only had to deal with total strangers here as adults, but I guarantee you, in each of the houses, those 4 aren't exactly alike either. So they've got those dynamics to have to deal with. If it's just them in the house,
I was going to ask you what the challenge is.
It's probably a lot easier.
That.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is there more challenge than there is benefit to that? Of having more kids in the house?
I would say
that's
no.
A good question.
The challenge is more in just the practical management of the property and the repairs and things like that. Like to have a house that can house that many people, you've got a lot of
having
things that
one
come with
versus
it,
you said you had 4. So having is it better to just for a healthy couple to take in 1 versus taking in 2 or allowing them to have more family?
It's what we did. Yeah.
Fewer layers of complication there when you are also, with us with 4 in a house, you're also working on them getting to know each other and sometimes conflict bubbling up and having to sort through that. But that's been another real blessing,
actually,
is being able to walk through conflict with these kids sometimes between them and us or them and each other, and teach them that you don't have to leave a relationship because there's conflict. You can lean into each other. You can resolve.
Her when she got up. She was
adorable.
But what about the young man that did the poem?
Yeah, it's LJ.
That was incredible.
That's Jada there. There was Nakia who built the table.
Yes.
Jada painted the picture.
In fact, that's at Brian's and Debbie's house.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
That gala was fantastic.
It was a beautiful event. It was a beautiful location. And really, the kids drove it home.
They did.
That was really what the event was about, and hearing them is what really stole our heart. Was them, because that's who it was about, and they were there representing and showing that what you all are doing really does make a difference in their lives. I mean, they are, to me, they were thriving. You could see them.
And there seemed, I guess that's why I asked the question about, is it more of a benefit for more to be together than just one? Because they seemed like there was this bond between all of them.
There's a cohesiveness there that has formed over the last few years. I think the answer to your question.
Well, did they go to church together and meet one another?
Right?
Are you all, some of them knew each other before they came in, because we have 7 nominating organizations. Some of them came, like 3 of them came from one of the organizations. They all knew each other there from Love the Lou. But then, there's others. So, and even at that, it's amazing. Some of them actually just knew each other from living in North St. Louis, for instance.
What is recommended, or the criteria for someone to be in? What do you expect of them as well? Are you teaching them how to do a checkbook? Are they learning how to cook? I know that sounds really simple and basic. There's a lot of 18-year-olds in a good family that doesn't know that. So are they learning life? They're not just having a bed to sleep in and safety. There's actually some protocol that goes on.
We try to teach what we would have taught our own kids, and Bob has said often, I wish we had the sort of curriculum, and this is sort of what we've created now is much more thorough, and we're looking at all of those things very carefully. Where with our own kids, it was a little bit like, oh, you want to learn to cook? Okay, well, tomorrow night we'll do that, and you know, but you miss some things along the way.
Sure.
With having an organization where we've had to work to build the structure around it, we've had to be a lot more intentional about how do we do those things.
To that point, spent probably a good half of a year researching online YouTube videos. Again, a lot of these kids come out of maybe not great educational backgrounds. So, and I know they exist out there. I've seen curriculum. I would call it adulting curriculum. Everything from financial literacy to cooking, shopping, car buying, car repair, home qualification for apartments, things like that. The net of it is, they're not great readers. They don't come from a reading background. So I knew video would probably be more appealing in smaller chunks. So we have a library, a video-based library, probably consists of 70 to 80 different videos in a wide variety of what I would call.
I learn more by watching a video.
Well, and that's exactly right. And it is all the things you don't learn in school, but you need to know, including what is a credit score? How do you impact it? How do you qualify for an apartment? What are you going to need? How do you shop efficiently and not waste money? And anyway, wide variety, even interpersonal relationships and dating and all sorts of things. But they can go online, password protected area, watch a 3 to 5 minute video, take a 10-question quiz. So, and then we're constantly adding to that. And our goal is someday to actually expose that same curriculum to others who may not be in our houses, but they're in that 18 to 25 because they need it. Because again, they don't typically get it.
And we have the curriculum, but adjunct to that are people and mentors who are coming alongside, volunteers who love to cook and who want to come and teach cooking, or how to grocery shop and plan a menu, and how to
interview for a job and
make a budget, and what do you need? What are you going to need in order to move out in a year? Like how do we look at a timeline for
how
that
long do they get to stay with you? How, first of all, how do they? How can a young adult get help from seat at the table, and then how long are they able to stay with you?
Chrissy nets it out very nicely in a phrase you use about it's someone who has demonstrated.
We usually, the qualification is a kid who has demonstrated determination within themselves to live a good life. Right? They want to be good. They're working hard. They're doing the work, putting in the miles, but they're going to run out of resources when they graduate high school, or when they, at some point
they're on the streets or something,
couch surfing, or at best, right?
And so those directors of those organizations spot that in them in their middle school and high school years, and they start communicating to us even during their high school years. And I think I'm going to have one in a couple of years.
So our age span is 18 to 25. The goal is not that they live with us for 7 years, but that we get them, depending on where, and just start to do some gentle assessing to see where they are and what might next steps be. Everybody's not going to do a 4-year degree. Some people are better off with apprenticeships or tech schools or those sorts of things,
IT, coding,
so
things like that.
Our job, and I think when answering questions can get tricky because it's very individualized. Each kid gets sort of known and looked at and talked to, and we figure out, what does it look like for you? Has school been a great thing for you? Do you want to try to continue on in junior college or something like that? Or do you love working with your hands? What else is interesting to you? And so we work with them. They're meanwhile getting counseling, because counseling is mandatory. We insist on that because there's so much healing to be done. And as the anxiety and the sort of survival stuff starts to settle and melt away from them, they get to start dreaming about future and what they've not had choices before, right? They're just trying to keep up, trying to keep their head above water. And so as the pressure starts to melt away, they get to start thinking about who they might want to be in the future.
So when you're talking to the community and people that are listening, what is it that you need? I know you mentioned already that a top priority is finding loving families that can bring a young adult in. What do you need from the community to be able to support a seat at the table, which is a great name? You know, just imagine, you know, it's saying, you know, you have a seat at our table.
It's welcoming.
You know, that was a family sort of, we were kind of playing around when we first formed the 501c3, and we were making up all kinds of names, Boys to Men and whatever, that kind of just laughing.
Makes me think of a band.
Yeah, that's right.
And one of our sons said, "Those are great, very funny." He goes, "But the thing that I think of all the time when I imagine, you know, our lives together is the meals around the table where we know each other's jokes and histories, and everybody feels together and united and looking at each other in the face." And so that became the inspiration for the name of the
Well, your son did good.
So to your point about what do we
from
need,
the community.
So we will, under that classification, we will never run out of high character, great young adults who are in need of a more stable place. So that said, yes, house parents, and or referrals to house parents. So even if some, you know, at times of life, and or just even from your personal makeup, you realize that's probably not us, you know, take somebody in. But I know our neighbors, or I know these other people in our church. So referrals to those kind of people, and referrals to churches who have that kind of heart, that they look at, you know, Matthew 25 and James 1:27 that command us to take care of the least of these in our midst, or to take care of orphans and widows in their time of distress. Churches who truly walk that out, referrals to those churches, because we tell pastors, look, if you know your people, I don't care if you have 50, 500, or 5,000, if you know your people, you probably got one or two couples in here wired to do that. Just point us to that.
It does take someone special.
And usually pastors, they know the people. Like Brent Rome, pastor at One Family Church, knew Claude and Debbie. Claude was the founding elder 13 years ago. He knew they had their heart. That's a logical use of somebody's gifting to say, I'm going to connect you with them. And then what happens is, the neat part is that the friends of Claude and Debbie, the Bennett, our Ferguson House parents, they come around Claude and Debbie and equip them because they know them. They know they're wired to do that. And so they start to volunteer there and mentor there, and even financially support their efforts. So that's
So we're running low on time. If someone wants to volunteer, they want to be a part of this, or maybe they know someone they can refer to be a part of a seat at the table, is it seatathetable.org?
Seatathetable.org.
Seatathetable.org.
Contact us section there.
And you're going to be in touch with them to be able to...
Like that.
Well, thank you so much for what you do. It's quite an incredible task to take on, and how lovely that, you know, you're sitting around your own table and you end up helping, you know, somebody. We had I don't know who it was, a conversation, and they had taken in a couple friends, you know, that were having some problems. That wasn't to that extent, but
it was Brian.
It was Brian and Debbie.
It was just recently. I think it's before Brian ever knew you. I know we're closing, but he had taken two kids in when Tyler was young.
So you just never know, you know, what someone's going through. Sometimes everyone's house looks perfect, and what's going on behind that is not always something that's, you know, a seat at the table. So thank you so much, Bob and Chrissy Sturgis, for coming in. So appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to In Your City Show. Well, of course, we'll be back tomorrow and next week, and here we are 3 weeks in, and it feels like we've been here forever. LouInfo.com, streaming 24/7, and of course KLIS, the new 590 AM. We'll talk with you soon. Until then, cheers.